A Topeka World War II veteran had his final wish granted. 93-year-old Clifford Everett was a captain in the U.S. Army Air Corps and was a pilot in World War II. His final request now to get back behind the controls. Our Kansas First News cameras have the exclusive video as we were the only ones in the cockpit for this flight of a lifetime. It's a dream Clifford Everett has waited years to make a reality.
Cliff, do you miss being up in the sky?
Oh, yeah.
The 93-year-old World War II veteran asking for one final request, to be a pilot just one more time. In a four-seater Cessna 182, Clifford, along with a flight instructor, a nurse's aide, and our cameras, took over the controls for 30 minutes over downtown Topeka, Lake Perry, and Lawrence.
He did really good. It felt like the pilot was doing it, you know, he wasn't too jerky, or he turned great. It was pretty good.
It all came true through a wish he made through the Topeka Presbyterian Manor's Dream Team. It connects to make sure all residents in long-term care can end their life with no regrets.
Just before he got on the plane, he found out he was going to be on it and get to go up.
What was his reaction?
Surprise.
He was happy.
He said it would be too much work. We said, no, we'll make it happen.
Clifford didn't say much, but did add the instruments in this plane were different than back in World War II, but says he doesn't forget the feeling of being airborne.
Proud to be a vet. Wears his hat. And
Every day.
I was proud.
He has a picture of his plane that he likes to fly in his room.
A final dream come true for a hero who gave this country so much. The Dream Team says it took a month to make Clifford's wish a reality. Once he made the request, they found a local pilot who said he could take Clifford up in the skies. The Dream Team started about 2 months ago and says it's granted wishes ranging from today's flight to a shopping trip to even someone who simply just wanted macaroni and cheese.
An inspirational story from an inspirational man.
He enjoyed every moment of it.
That's awesome. I love it.
All around Northeast Kansas, there are hidden gems, places you didn't know you wanted to go. Tonight, we take a closer look at a growing antique scene, a veritable picker's paradise in the bustling metropolis of Paxico. Well, this week we're in Paxico, home of an up-and-coming antique district, as well as some other shops, museums, art studios, things like that. But with the holiday shopping season almost here, you may be wondering what to get for that special someone who has everything and you never know what to find. Maybe what you need to find is a different place to shop. So we've come here to Paxico to take a look around the antique district. We'll start out with Main Street Antiques. Walking through the antique shops in Paxico, you get a distinct flavor and feel for what each store brings to the table. There's so much to see and to find within this small town. I talked to Larry Winkler of Main Street Antiques about what has made Paxico really stand out in the antiquing world.
Well, I think a lot of it is because it's a small town, and we get a lot of people here from larger cities like Kansas City or, you know, every place all over the country. And it's just a small town atmosphere. I mean, really small town. That's what we are. That people really enjoy. And just to see the old buildings kind of preserved the way they were back in those days. And then the other thing is just the number of antique shops in a small area, so that people can wander from store to store easily within walking distance.
Well, I made my way around the block and down the street to meet with Steve Hund, the owner of Mill Creek Antiques, to find out how this longtime Paxico resident looks at how a decaying period of time for the town actually set it up for some future growth.
It provided an opportunity for a lot of buildings that were available, and it pretty much retained its original characteristic, which was kind of an old west town setting with the building fronts with the false fronts and ornamental tin fronts on most of them, and this general store, which had been here since 1886.
And there's more than just antiques in Paxico. More recently, art studios have been opening up, and even a toy museum with some military artifacts as well, housed in a new museum right there in the historic district of Paxico. A nice find in small town Wabaunsee County.
You know, with Christmas coming up, it might be the perfect place for a few gifts.
They said they're anticipating at least some point, they don't have the date picked yet,
Yeah.
but in early December there will be some kind of Christmas shopping and
Nice.
things that the community comes together. There's a great community feel there too. You can really tell all the antique stores, while competing against each other,
Yeah.
are also very working together, very cooperative. It's
A lot of pride in that community.
Absolutely.
With some business struggling downtown, all newcomers are certainly welcome in the capital city. Our photojournalist Nate Nottage-Tacey met with one business owner looking to do his part reviving downtown Topeka.
Well, I like beer. I like wine, mead, coffee, cheese, and everybody always asks the question, how is it made? Nobody really, at least when I started doing it, took the time to get into it and understand what they were actually putting into their body. And I basically started doing the research on it. I was like, this would be a fun thing to try to do, and it took off from there. The reason why I actually chose downtown, well, number one, downtown's struggling. I mean, that's obvious. They're doing everything they can to try to revamp the business area downtown, bringing down the art walks and everything. But downtown needs businesses to support it, or it is going to fail. And after doing a lot of research, after researching this building specifically, it came up for rent. And I love the spot. I love the layout. And I'll be honest, I was looking at places I want to make her, but as soon as this came up, I grabbed this. Craft brew, homebrew, whatever you want to call it, regardless, it's not just for adults. There's a whole lot children can do. There's a whole lot families can do together. Beyond that, we're working on winemaking classes, cheese making classes, soda classes, beer, coffee classes. I mean, the whole 9 yards. I'm super excited. Like, this is like, it's a dream to actually sit here and have all this stuff around me, and just, it's just like having a kid in a candy store. I mean, it's phenomenal.
I think it's important to teach your kids nowadays how things were back when, before they were around, how their grandparents and great-grandparents had to do it. I find it's all too easy today with the smartphones and computers to forget what we had to do.
Imagine you take a kid out of the city right now, he'd be lost. He couldn't survive. This is something that was everyday necessity. That's how your house got built. That's how your barn got built. You took care of your animals.
We had a young man here today that brought a piece that he'd made in 4-H, and we had him work at the forge. I wish you'd have been here to see him work. It was very, very fun. It's an important, interesting part of America. It's kind of the beginning of all tool making, and it's the basis of lots and lots of trades. Almost everybody had to come to the blacksmith. Carpenters had their hammers made by blacksmiths. The masons had their trowels made by blacksmiths. So it's an elemental craft.
If we didn't preserve, if we didn't care to share, they might never see it except maybe in a static display at a museum somewhere.